earlier, and now the wind is starting to pick up, so I should have filmed this earlier, but anyway, let's turn the camera around and let's have a look at this. This is a Spitfire. It's a Spitfire. And that's a cup of coffee. The magpies are excited. So how beautiful, huh? The shape. Spitfire, you can just tell when you look at it that it's gonna fly, the way it looks. The shape of a Spitfire. So perfect, so nice. So it's the model with machine guns, 303s, 4 in each wing, so 8 303 machine guns. This bloody wind. The wind's going to make it harder to film everything, like the noise and everything. You can see it's windy, but there was no wind before. It's got flaps as well. This is a short video. It's Sunday morning. I'm probably going to go to a church soon, but I just wanted to show this. It arrived a few days ago. When it arrived with something missing. It's supposed to include some replacement servos, and they are normally, according to internet videos, they're normally strapped on top of the box in a padded envelope. They were missing, so I still don't have them. And something that really surprised me, that at first I thought must have been an error. Can you see that? Can you see what I'm pointing to there? Can you see what there might be a problem? Look at the center line there, and look at how the engine is mounted. You can see the engine is mounted pointing in that direction. You can see that, right? It's pretty obvious. The engine looks to be mounted pointing about 2 degrees, 1.5 to 2 degrees off to the right. So when I saw that, I thought it must be a mounting error. They must have mounted the engine incorrectly. And then I thought, oh no, this is going to be a nightmare. They're incompetent. I'll have to fix it myself. And then, you know, if I fly it in its current condition, it's just going to crash on takeoff, sort of thing. Now, on closer inspection, even the nacelle is designed that way. So you can really see that engine is pointing off to the side. It's pointing to the right. And so is the nacelle. You can see the nacelle is pointing off to the right as well. So they've obviously designed it that way. And I'd say the reason they've designed it that way, remember, this company, this is not the first plane that they've built. They've built heaps of planes. So this is not the first plane that they've built. So they obviously know what they're doing. Why have they mounted the engine facing to the starboard? On purpose, no less. And even built the nacelle, like the cowling around the engine, sort of distorted so that it's going to still be flush with the spinner, even though the spinner's going to be pointing to the right by 1.5 degrees. Why? The only thing I can think of, and I checked the vertical axis as well, and the vertical was completely horizontal. So the vertical was not warped. It's just the left and the right, and it's off to the right of the center line. So why is that? Why is that? I think it's to do with torque management. I think they're doing that as a method of managing torque. So let's hope that it actually doesn't, you know, cause problems. there's no aircraft in the history of successful aircraft, certainly not the Spitfire, that has the engine with the crankshaft mounted such that the engine and the crankshaft are facing to the right or the left a bit. No one does that. So why is this company that makes this, why are they doing that? Like, normally you just have an engine that points forward along the centre line, and then on takeoff with full power you give it right rudder, and that counteracts the propeller torque. With this one, they're kind of assuming that you don't know that you need to give it right. They're trying to make a plane that's able to be flown by people that don't know how to fly. I think that's what it is, which is dangerous, because if you didn't notice that propeller like that and you took off and you gave it right rudder, you'd end up rolling over to the right and crashing on takeoff. So I'm tempted to swear, like, it really effing pees me off that they've done this with the mounting of the engine on this plane. They shouldn't do that. They absolutely shouldn't do that. I've watched all these remote control plane experts on YouTube unboxing this, and none of them has noticed it. So either my plane has a singular congenital defect that none of the other YouTubers' planes has, or they're all like that, but I'm the only one that noticed it. Maybe my perception is extra sharp compared to theirs, or maybe they know it, and because they continuously build remote control planes, they sort of, and maybe the feature works, and so maybe that's why they're not mentioning the feature. Is it a feature or an error? From my point of view, it's an aircraft design error. They shouldn't do it. It's a beautiful looking plane otherwise. It really reminds me of how much of the Spitfire's bulk is just packed into a long, thin fuselage that is really not presenting much drag to the airflow. It's pretty impressive how it's like the body of a snake or something, like, everything is packed one thing behind the other, as opposed to off to the left and the right. So the only big thing on the Spitfire is the wings. Everything else is compact. Yeah, again, sorry about that wind. If I stay out of the wind over here, it's better. So it's got ailerons, it's got elevator, it's got rudder, and it's got flaps, and it's got throttle. So it's got the bulges for the cannons, but I don't know what that bulge is, maybe the undercarriage, but it's got the bulges for the cannons, but it doesn't have cannons. You could put cannons in there if you want, but it's in the configuration of 303, like you probably can't see it with the contrast, but there's 303s along the leading edge of the wing. I'll kind of zoom in for you a bit. Hang on. Can't be seen, can it? Like that, see that? And that. And that. That's your 303s. But yeah, that engine being mounted off to the right-hand side is really strange. So it's got a thing here. The company's called Avios. Avios. I still need to buy a battery that goes in here. So please help with the GoFundMe to give me some money so I can buy a battery for this. And I still need to buy the radio control and the transmitter and the receiver. So I can't get airborne just yet. So the GoFundMe is still there, it's still active, and it's still totally necessary for getting this project off the ground. So please support on the GoFundMe for the Spitfire. So that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for watching. Give give us a thumbs up. And that's a Spitfire Mk1a, and it's really good, except for the thing with the engine. I don't like that at all. I really don't like that. I mean, it'll probably fly fine. I can tell they're doing it to counteract the torque, but as a pilot, my instinct on takeoff is right rudder, and so that's already doing it. So I need the remote control, and I need a battery and a transmitter receiver set up, and it's got retractable undercarriage that goes up and down as well. So, and it's got the split flaps under there. Those are split flaps. So these big ailerons. So yeah, right, thanks very much for listening. Support on the GoFundMe for this project, and we'll get it up in the air as soon as possible.